Thank you. Further debate? And now the member from York South Weston.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today on behalf of the decent and hard-working people of York South Weston. It is my honour to speak to and to support my colleagues' co-sponsored Bill 8 entitled Stay Home If You Are Sick Act. Simply put, workers in Ontario should not be made to choose between coming to work sick, putting themselves and their co-workers at risk, or staying home missing a day's pay. I can tell you that York South Weston, that is home to many frontline essential workers and also designated hotspots that was high risk during the COVID, that paid sick days would have been a game changer in mitigating COVID spread during the pandemic. Our many calls over the pandemic for paid sick days fall on deaf ears with this government, and I hope now that with the lessons of the past, very clear that this government will finally do the right thing by workers and support this bill. Providing workers with paid sick days is good for families, elders and children, and it makes economic sense. The previous Liberal government had 15 years to provide paid sick days, and in an enlightened run-up to the election, we were able to scramble together 2 paid sick days. This current government slashed that small gesture upon taking power and have since not listed to any reason on why paid sick days is simply the right thing to do for the workers and the heroes of this province. The government's typical shifting of responsibility to other levels of government is shameful, and we all know the Liberal federal government is insufficient in design and practice. I support this bill that demonstrates the leadership needed to protect workers and helps in our economic recovery while lowering healthcare costs. The pandemic disproportionately affected people along economic and racial lines. That was seen firsthand in York South Weston. The Premier suggested if you are sick, just stay home. I can tell the Premier that the typical BSW working part-time in more than one long-term care workplace and taking overcrowded buses to get to work in York South Weston could not take his advice to stay home and lose a day's pay. 1 year ago in York South Weston, in the month of November, an incredible 170 eviction hearings were scheduled. Could those folks stay home when they are sick? Paid sick days helps to level the playing field in Ontario and does not force workers to carry the burden of going to work sick or paying their bills at risk. This bill calls for 14 days of paid infectious disease emergency leave and 10 days of paid personal emergency leave. As the critic for youth opportunities, I can tell you from many conversations young people are scared to take a day off when ill, not only because they cannot afford to lose a payday, but also because of the power dynamic in their workplace, where they are intimidated and afraid of missing a day's work for fear of losing their job. This is not how things should be in Ontario. Paid sick days makes good public health sense and in fact prevents future more expensive healthcare costs down the road. When I see that 60% of workers and over 70% of low-income workers do not have access to paid sick days, I see that as a public health issue as well as workers' rights and social justice issue. I am proud to support this bill, and I urge all in the House to do so and protect workers. Thank you.